this legacy on purpose through mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make an amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, Legacy Builders, welcome back to another show. I'm back with you with another amazing guest and conversation. And today we're going to speak about fulfillment. It is a topic that is near and dear to our heart. And specifically after 40 years old, after that life phase and stage that, depending on where you are, you might be craving this sense of fulfillment, sense of contribution, sense of joy, right? And sometimes I know that that could be something that might not be there. So my guest today is going to discuss that and so much more in our interview. Kris Kendall, I have the pleasure to have with me today. Kris, thanks so much for coming on. Looking forward to getting to know you better. And I usually start off my guests with asking them if they could share a few of the most meaningful moments that led them to the journey and the work that they're doing today.
Hi, yes, thank you for having me. When I first hit that age of around 40-ish, I think that I started to realize that there's more to life than just work and career and some of the things that I had been focusing on for so long. And I wanted to do some of the things that I wanted to do. We all have stuff that maybe early in our life we enjoy, we love, we have fun, and we think is what we want to do when we grow up. And we move away from that sometimes, and we kind of forget what makes us happy and what makes us really feel joy and contentment because we're busy with life and families and careers and other things. And so this is a great time for people, I think, to really reflect and take a step back from what they've been doing and think about what they want the rest of their life to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. I know firsthand also for myself. Well, one more year until I get to that next decade, but it's just I think as we get older or as we go through, I guess, life priorities. I find that those earlier years were a lot about rediscovering yourself, kind of doing things according to the blueprint that was maybe handed out to us prior. So I know how important it is to kind of reevaluate your values and what you want out of life on that personal level. And I find that I think now it's happening earlier and earlier, thankfully. But of course, there's a lot of people, especially women, that might need that support and kind of wake up one day and be like, wait, I thought I was supposed to be happy, but this is no longer fulfilling me. And are those some of the things that women feel at that phase and stage based on your work, Kris? What are some of those things? What does lack of fulfillment feel like for most women based on the work that you do?
Yeah, I think it often shows up in um, as their children get older and maybe a little bit more independent, and they don't have that same reliance on mom to take care of everything for them. And they don't, for a lot of women, they don't have a social system outside of their kids' network of activities and school and clubs and things like that. And they kind of get to this point of like, well, where are my friends? What am I doing? What makes me happy? And it could also be in their career. Maybe they've changed jobs, they get laid off, they realize they kind of hate what they're doing, or they just don't like it very much. Maybe it was something that paid the bills for a long time, but now they're at a point where they can actually think about what do I want to do? What makes me happy? And start putting some effort into finding that, being able to do those things that they've just backburnered for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. All of those are definitely great red flags to listen to as our life sort of throws those signs towards us. and we just feel the lack of satisfaction overall. So important. And how do we start the process, Kris? So how do we start this process towards feeling more fulfilled?
Yeah, so I think when you start to get to that point where you're just kind of off, there's something doesn't feel right. It's a great opportunity to just sort of reflect on what are the things that make you happy. If you could, what I always say to clients is, if you could imagine your life 12 months from now, what does it look like? What are you doing? Where do you live? What is your job? What is your bank account like? All of those things. And if it's different from where you're at today, how can you get to that point? What are the steps that you can be taking now in order to get to that place of like, I love what I'm doing. I'm making the money that I want to be making. I have friendships that are supportive. I have people surrounding me that love me and want me to be successful and happy. All of those things that we don't always nurture and maintain, as we're busy with life. And then when we kind of settle down and things are quiet, we can, really take a look around and decide, are we where we want to be and are we happy with what our life looks like?
Mm. Absolutely. And what happens after that, someone kind of has now a good sense of, well, I call it purpose, but like a clear purpose for this next phase and stage. They have that clarity of their values, of their identity, of what they want to build in their life. And it's coming from the good place because obviously you are mentoring and you're helping them through that process. So I find that that's actually a very important point as well, because a lot of things that we want don't necessarily come from the very the soulful why, meaning why is it that we really want it from that good place. We might want it out of lack. That's at least what I've figured out in a lot of my wants over my seasons of growth as well. So once they discover that, what are some practical steps that they can start implementing for our viewers or people that watch our this interview with our audience, that they can maybe just start putting into place right away?
Yeah. So one of the things that, kind of the first steps after you sort of visualize and maybe document what you want to happen, is look at some of the steps that would get you there. So if your goal is to have better relationships, for example, look at the people that surround you, that you spend the most amount of time with, friends, family, coworkers, etc. Are they supportive? Are they the people that when you have a conversation with them, do you leave that conversation happy and excited and feeling good? Or are you kind of depressed and feeling bad about yourself and feeling negative and feeling like, oh, well, I can never do this. I could never take a chance. I'm not very smart. I'm not very motivated. I don't have a lot of experience. Like really look at those relationships that are closest to you and make a decision on the ones that need to be changed. Not everyone in our life stays with us forever, right? We have friendships that are meant to be there for a certain season, like you said, and sometimes that ends and it's time to move on from those people. If there are people in your life that are a negative influence and that don't have your growth and success and happiness in their heart and they just want to kind of keep you down or maybe keep you at their level, then those might be relationships to say goodbye to and to end. Now even if that's family, sometimes we have like a sibling or a cousin or our parent that is constantly telling us that we're not a risk taker. We shouldn't do that. We're not going to be good. We're just going to waste money. It's just a scam. It's just this. It's just, all the reasons why we shouldn't try to do the things that we love. Um, and just reducing the amount of time that you spend with that person can sometimes be enough to start to feel happy again, to feel excited about things. It's really important just to spend time with people who are supportive and loving and want to see you successful.
Yeah, no, that's a big practical tip and advice right there, because surrounding yourself with people that could see your potential and can encourage you is crucial, especially as you are making some new choices. You're looking into some deep things sometimes, and where you'll have some growing pains, right? From just coming out of that comfort zone, but it's absolutely worth it because you're betting on yourself. And the fulfillment usually lies, they usually say success lies on the other side of fear. I also find that fulfillment, it's kind of the same thing, relies, it's on the other side of fear, but also on the other side of contribution. So finding something bigger than yourselves and finding a new purpose in life to go after, something that's meaningful for you, and surrounding yourself with those people is absolutely crucial in the step towards feeling more fulfilled generally and overall. Well, beautiful, Kris. I also know you also have a publishing company as well. So I'm curious to know what's the connection between the work you do here and also your publishing company that helps people publish their books.
Yeah. Well, I've found that for so many people, when I mention that I like to write or I work with writers, they'll say to me, you know what? I wrote a book. I wrote a book 5 years ago. I'm writing a book right now. When I was, in college, I wrote a book and it's on my computer. I don't even know what to do with it. And that's really where a lot of people, they write a book and then they don't know what to do with it, right? So where I come in, my company's called Surrendered Press, and we offer done for you services for people that are brand new in the publishing world. So we can take just their like Word file with their manuscript, get it edited, get the cover done, get it formatted, and then even upload it into onto Amazon or Barnes and Noble, some of these big book publishing sites, into that author's account. So it's not in our account where we're going to get any money going forward. It's into their account. They get all the money, and they manage it. We're just doing the upfront work, so that if you're not going to be publishing 10 books a year, you just want to write one book or maybe one book a year, and you don't really want to learn the entire process of behind the scenes getting it published, we can do that for you. And for so many people, that means like a memoir or a cookbook or just their family history, the kind of things that they want to write and want to document for their family, for their legacy. Maybe it's something that they want to make some money off of commercially, or maybe it's just something they want to put on their bookshelf and print out, have printed as gifts for their family members and the people that they love. But for a lot of people that are business owners, they'll use it to write a book about their expertise and use that as a lead magnet or to build credibility with their clients. Whatever their knowledge is, they can say, well, I wrote a book about it, and let me give you a copy, or here's where you can buy a copy. And so there's so many ways that you can fulfill that bucket list item that so many people have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say it's one more thing towards your fulfillment, because when you get to share whatever is it that you want to share in your book, I find that that was a very fulfilling moment for me as well, to kind of be able to, just like you said, document my knowledge or expertise and just create impact with that and give it to other people, and they get to have access to that as well. And hopefully they can, have that awareness and knowledge, and they can apply it and all of that. So I think it's definitely connected to how you can also be fulfilled, as someone that can, again, whether you are sharing your story and you are fulfilling your soul and you are, getting clarity towards the things that maybe even have happened to you if you're going to do a memoir, or even just, sharing knowledge that you have gained over the years through your experience that could be helpful for others. So, yeah, I could see how that has definitely connected between both of the things that you do as well. Well, beautiful. Well, Kris, we've actually reached the end of our interview, and I usually ask my guests at the end if they can share one success tip. You seem to be a very successful an entrepreneur, I should say, managing two businesses, so to speak, even though, of course, they always connect. What is one success tip that you can share with our audience as an entrepreneur, or what and also a lesson that you have learned, I should say. So one lesson you have learned and one success tip.
Yes. So One lesson that I've learned is that you have to just do it, right? For so many people, they'll keep it in the back of their mind and wait for the right time or do research and think about it and plan it. And, 10 years later, they've never even started. So sometimes you just put all the fear aside and just do it. Just start doing the thing that you've wanted to do. And one way that I've experienced that is starting a branch of my business that's translations. So I have lots of current authors who like sell essentially kind of sell the rights to foreign language translations to me, and then I do the translations and have them published and then share in the royalties. That was a big risk. It's a lot of money to translate a book, and so I'm putting up a lot of resources up front in order to hopefully get them on the back end. That was scary, it was expensive, it was a big risk, but it has paid off and it has tripled my revenue on my publishing company. So it's one of those things that sometimes an upfront investment in order to have a bigger, outcome in the end is worth it. Scary, but worth it.
Yeah, that's very smart. I mean, with all our work being global, it would make sense that if you have access to helping people translate their book from English to other cultures and other languages, there you go. You just connected to a whole other culture globally.
Yep.
So I could see the value in that for sure. Well, yeah, I love your learning lesson. Just do it, right? Just do it and figure it out along the way and continuously improve. That's what this journey
Exactly. It's
usually.
never going to be perfect.
There's no perfection. So I love your advice. Thank you so much, Kris. And where is it that people can get acquainted to all the amazing work that you do and continue a conversation with you?
Yeah, fulfilledafter40.com. I do have a special for listeners. If you go to slash intensive, I have a discounted price for a 2-day intensive that they can work with me, or surrenderedpress.com. If they have a book that they're ready to finally get out into the world, I can help them with that.
All right. Hope you connect all with Kris, as I know one of the most important values here in our show with our audience is connection and nurture relationships. So definitely connect with one another and see where is it that you can add value and look for ways to collaborate and support one another. Thank you so much, Kris. It was definitely a pleasant interview. I thank you for all your time and also the amazing knowledge and expertise that you do on your day to day, and keep shining with the amazing work that you're doing with women to help them find fulfillment and also with sharing their voice and their message with the world. So I was like, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
My pleasure. And friends, you know where to find our podcast on all major podcast platforms and all over our social media. And don't forget to subscribe so we bring more beautiful guests just like Kris, but also, most importantly, share feedback around each of the episodes so we know how to personalize the content that you want to hear from us. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Bye, everybody. I am offering a free 30-minute discovery strategy business growth call for you in order to help you discover the foundational gaps that you might have between your book publishing, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so that you can make more impact and income in your business this year. Even if you decide not to receive the further support that I could provide for you, you will still walk away with amazing wisdom and value from my 20-year experience in helping entrepreneurs and growing my own successful business in what are some of the gaps that you are experiencing and how to connect those gaps with your ultimate business and life vision. Schedule a call now as my calendar gets booked very fast so that you could take advantage of this 30-minute opportunity to have a personalized chat together.